Hi there, welcome to Switch Mania. I am Clarence and today we'll talk about the best Nintendo Switch games on sale. We will be covering the UK, EU, US, Australia, and Canada eShop. But first and foremost, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you want to see more of this series, please leave a like. Remember to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to receive future notifications. Likes and subscriptions help keep the channel alive. Just a quick reminder, 90% of you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel. If you are enjoying the videos and not subscribed yet, why not? You're coming back anyways. With all that said, let's get back to the video. First on our list is Katamari Damacy REROLL. Katamari Damacy REROLL does an excellent job of recapturing the magic of the original game, and it only requires a few minor tweaks to make it more appealing to today's gamers. The basic concept remains distinct from most other games, and the ability to create a wacky ball of destruction out of everyday items never gets old. The silliness remains, and it's still entertaining to see what strange things you can find. Katamari Damacy REROLL is a classic that every Nintendo Switch owner should own. Katamari Damacy REROLL is the best way to get to know this strange but charming series, whether you're a longtime fan or a newcomer looking to try something new. Let us hope that this is not the last time the Prince and King of all Cosmos visits us. Next is Dreamscaper. Dreamscaper is a heartfelt and engaging roguelike. Because it has a gameplay loop that is meant to drive a deeper story, the game may be one of the few examples of synergy in the genre. Dreamscaper frequently punches above its weight thanks to its clever upgrade system and heavy, acrobatic combat. This one is for those who get lost in games with endless loops. Dreamscaper is an excellent and well-crafted adventure that combines enjoyable gameplay with an engaging story. Even though some difficult jumps break the loop, there are ways to put things back together and continue on a journey of heart and discovery. It's a good roguelike that also manages to tell a story, which most games are too afraid to attempt. Next up, OKAMI HD. OKAMI HD is the best way to improve on a classic game. The Switch version makes no compromises. It has everything you'd expect from a port and goes above and beyond to meet the platform's requirements. Even if the outcome wasn't perfect, Amaterasu's adventure would be worthwhile. OKAMI is one of the best games ever made, and thinking of it as a Zelda clone is doing it a disservice. Look past that and focus on the story, symbols, and where the game's ideas came from. OKAMI is the video game equivalent of Spirited Away. It is not only beautiful and powerful, but it also captures the essence of what it means to be Japanese, making it an excellent way to learn about the country and its culture. Next is Doom 3. Doom 3 is the most distinct game in the series due to its horror setting and story. This, however, makes it the one I most often want to play again. And this version does the job admirably. Doom 3 on Switch is a fantastic game that stays true to the original. Even after you've killed your 100th fire-throwing imp, the gunplay in the Doom series is very satisfying. Doom may not have been as popular as the 2016 reboot, but it has a place in history and would be an excellent addition to any Switch library. What Doom 3 had to offer was excellent, and it's still enjoyable to play today. It's a fantastic game because, among other things, it's the first in the series to incorporate more elements from other genres, particularly survival horror. Next up, Puyo Tetris. Puyo Tetris is one of the best puzzle games I've ever played, and not just because it's built around two tried and true puzzle concepts. It's also one of the best puzzle games I've ever played because it goes all the way without stopping for an extended edition. Take it with you and spread the word about Puyo. A combination of Puyo Tetris is a joy to play in almost any way, depending on your preferences. It appears to have been created in heaven. The Switch version of the game expands on that mantra by providing two controllers that can be used anywhere. This makes it the best version for multiplayer gaming. If you enjoy puzzle games like Puyo, Tetris, or just puzzle games in general, this is a must-have. Next up, The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim. A game with hundreds of hours of content runs amazingly well on a mobile game console. Skyrim is a fantastic game in and of itself, but I no longer have to play it on my couch or computer. I can play it whenever and wherever I want. What a wonderful time to be alive. Skyrim is now available on the Nintendo Switch thanks to an excellent port of this fantastic game. This exemplifies what the Switch excels at, allowing you to play great games anywhere and at any time. The port looks fantastic, includes all of the DLC, runs extremely smoothly, and makes excellent use of the Switch's amiibo and motion control features. The only drawback to the game is that it is far too expensive for what it is. Next is Doom 1993. When Doom is released on the Nintendo Switch, it's a great opportunity to remember why it's still a great game after all these years. It's the best kind of old-school FPS fun, and you can now transport its dark corridors and hellish landscapes in the smallest of backpacks. Despite the fact that the gameplay is the same, this version isn't the best port it could be due to some strange changes and omissions, but it's very cheap, as it should. Doom remains an iconic game that shooter fans, nay, gamers in general, should play. This version has a few flaws that will make the game less enjoyable for some, but it is by far the most accurate version of the game on a Nintendo platform to date. Next up, Diablo 3 Eternal Collection. The Switch version of Diablo 3 is the best because it can be taken anywhere. Because the Switch is portable, you can play it for short or long periods of time. It feels great either way. Diablo 3 is given new life on the latest Nintendo console, which features a stable frame rate and graphics that are impressive for a portable console. Finally, given that millions of people have played Diablo 3 over the years, it may appear strange to call this port essential or exceptional. However, when you play Diablo in handheld mode, you quickly realize that the core experience, flow, and skill and item-based action RPG combat are among the best in the genre. It's also a style that complements the Switch's portability, so having the ability to bring Diablo 3 with you wherever you go for a quick rift or bounty or 2 or 3 is well worth it. Next up, Enter the Gungeon. Enter the Gungeon is about as good as it gets when it comes to roguelike games. The combination of dungeon crawling and twin-stick shooting has worked well in the past, and the smooth dodge rolling and large number of customizable guns in this game make every run-through fun and exciting. The bright colors and distinct styles of the sprites and animation are so entertaining that you almost want the cute little bullets trying to kill you to win. The game works well when docked as well as when held in your hand, which is why the Switch is such a great console. If you don't enjoy challenging games, you should reconsider purchasing Enter the Gungeon, but if you're looking for a great roguelike, look no further. Next is Shin Megami Tensei 5. Shin Megami Tensei 5 wants you to be a god, so it throws everything at you to test your strength. Atlus' deft approach to RPG development compensates for their rebellious and stubborn nature. Those who persevere through its sandblasted, broken world will discover a treasure that will stay with them like a revelation. With a dark, hopeless story and a collection of demons that make Pokemon look like a kid's game, this is hardcore role-playing at its finest. Only God knows how much better the next one could be. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is not only the series' best game, but also one of the best JRPGs released in recent years. This game has a rich story, enjoyable gameplay, and a large number of old and new demons. It won't appeal to everyone, but fans of the genre will enjoy it. Next up, Downwell. Downwell is an excellent choice for the Switch because it is simple, sweet, and fashionable. This is a must-have for anyone looking for a little competition on their handheld hybrid. The controls are simple to grasp, the difficulty is high but fair, and the pixel art is stunning. It's great to finally see how cool Downwell is after hearing about it for years. It's a straightforward design masterclass where you can easily sit down to play for 5 minutes and end up playing for more than an hour and a dozen runs. Downwell is still a fast-paced action game that pushes you to take big, exciting risks, keeping you on the edge of your seat. The new Switch version of the game is similar to previous versions, but it has a few advantages and disadvantages that are unique to it. Next up, Rogue Legacy. Rogue Legacy's core is solid, but the game's strict play pattern, in which you gradually improve, can make some parts of this fun and unique platformer too slow. Because of how well done the platforming is most of the time, the problems don't matter as much. Even if you don't save the day, Rogue Legacy is a fun family trip because it has interesting ideas and a great hook. Switch is an excellent location for Rogue Legacy. If you've already played Rogue Legacy and want to play it again, a portable version is a great option. If you've never played it before, the Switch version is an excellent place to begin. Next is Katana ZERO. Katana ZERO is a very stylish game, from the lovely pixel art to the fantastic music that complements the fast and violent action. As you complete the challenges or die trying, you will truly feel like a master swordsman. Katana ZERO is really cool where it counts, and there aren't many drawbacks. The action is nearly perfect, and if you make a minor mistake, you are immediately thrown back into it. This allows you to learn from your errors. The story is clearly larger than this single title. Even if it doesn't all fit together perfectly, I'm hoping to see more of it soon. It's natural to have reservations when the action and style are this good. Make some time for this. Next up, Valkyria Chronicles. The Switch port isn't the cheapest way to play the original Valkyria Chronicles right now, but it's the best way to play the game on a handheld because it's for Switch. If portability isn't important to you, I'd recommend playing this game on the PS4 or PC port, which are both cheaper and allow you to play the game more smoothly. However, if you want to play the game on the go, this is the version to get. Valkyria Chronicles is a lot of fun to play on the go, and the game as a whole is still fantastic a decade later. If you haven't already, you should play this classic SRPG right away. Next up, Puyo Tetris 2. Puyo Tetris 2 offers nothing new. That was already done in the first game in this series. This sequel maintains what was good about the first one while adding to or improving on everything else. The tutorials are clear and lengthy, making it easier to learn how to play. The various online puzzle leagues add to the depth of online play, and the new skill battle mode adds a clever new twist to the game. This is a fun puzzle game with a lot of content and activities. Puyo Tetris 2 is an expansion of the original game. It has more puzzles, new game modes, new characters, and the same flawless gameplay as Puyo in Tetris. Puyo Tetris 2 is a fantastic puzzle game collection. It includes both humorous and serious game modes that will appeal to players of all skill levels. Next is Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania is the culmination of a massive amount of effort by people who adore Sonic's 2D games more than anyone else. Sega gambled by allowing outsiders to control what makes Sonic Sonic, and it paid off with the best Sonic game in decades. It's not perfect, there are glitches, and some people may find the crushing deaths and general difficulty of later levels a little off-putting, but after being let down by many of Sega's previous attempts to capitalize on Sonic's early success, Mania accomplished something I had almost given up on being possible. Christian Whitehead, Headcanon, and Pagoda West Games have demonstrated that they understand what made Sonic great on the Mega Drive and have updated this core for a modern audience with a sequel that can compete with the best in the series. Next is Metro 2033 Redux. Metro 2033 Redux on Switch is a technical marvel and, without a doubt, the best way to play Metro 2033. I cannot recommend it highly enough, despite the fact that it takes a long time to load. It's not necessary to focus on the fights in a game like Metro 2033. You're only here to survive until the next day, not to kill as many people as possible. If you haven't already, you should check out this dark, tense game on the Switch. Even though it was released a few years ago, it is a one-of-a-kind game that any fan should immerse themselves in. It has excellent tension, setting, action, and story. Despite a few minor flaws, the Nintendo Switch version is fantastic. Next up, Doom Eternal. The violent and bloody world of Doom Eternal is amazing, and you feel strong when you play as the Slayer and fight terrifying demons. Playing under my cozy blanket made me feel like I was in the world, which the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions did not provide. Most games on the Nintendo Switch feel inferior to their counterparts on other platforms, but ID Software did an excellent job making Doom Eternal feel just as good on the Switch. I don't think you'll be disappointed if you've been playing Doom for a long time and want to try it on the Nintendo Switch. If you haven't played the other games in the series, you should try Doom Eternal because you're missing out. Next is Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is enthralling. I enjoy playing, learning about, and watching it. I don't think I've ever had such a good time playing a fighting game. Despite the fact that I've only played this and the PS4 version, I believe the Switch port is the weakest by default, but I'm still very pleased with this version. The frame rate is perfect, the games play smoothly, and the graphics are as good as they've always been. I expected to stop playing this once I got the other versions, but here I am, still labbing on Switch. If you don't have any other systems and want to play one of the best Persona spin-offs, look into Ultimax. I can't wait to get it on PC so I can fire it up whenever some harmless trash talking on Discord needs to be settled in the arena. Next up, Dead Cells. Dead Cells is a must-have for anyone who enjoys even one of the items mentioned above. The gameplay is extremely satisfying, there are always new things to unlock, and the world constantly challenges you. Every success releases endorphins, and every failure motivates you to do better the next time. You'll be overjoyed when you finally defeat the final boss. Dead Cells informs you that this is just the first round. There are a few more, and each one becomes increasingly difficult. This is the type of game that will keep you occupied for a long time. You only need to let it beat you up a few times. Dead Cells is incredible in every way. Celeste, which was released earlier this year, changed the way people thought about platform games. Dead Cells has great combat, a great way to progress, and great music that you will want to listen to over and over. Next is Prison Architect. This game is extremely enjoyable. It takes an intriguing thematic approach to a strange subgenre of simulations, and while it retains the general complexity and what made that other game so good, it eliminates all the extraneous stuff, keeps it laser-focused, and wraps it all up in a nice user interface. Life can be difficult, and even with tutorials, the best way to learn is to dive in and explore, but Prison Architect is worth the time it takes to master. Prison Architect is easy to get lost in, and I'd recommend it to anyone looking for a simulation game to play while sitting on the couch. Prison Architect is a challenging micromanagement simulation game that rewards those who put in the effort. It's pricey and only available on the eShop, but it's a lot of fun, so give it a try. Next up, Heave Ho. Heave Ho is a fun game to play with friends. When my roommate and I first played it, we assumed it would take about an hour and we'd be done for the night. We'd been playing for 4 hours before I realized it. and I'd fallen off my couch several times from laughter. It's a great game to bring out at a party or get together with friends because anyone can figure it out and the shenanigans will have almost everyone laughing until they cry. You owe it to yourself to try Heave Ho if you enjoy playing games with other people in the same room. Heave Ho is a great example of a game that is more enjoyable when played with friends. If you play this game by yourself, you will quickly become bored. However, if you gather 1 or 2 friends, this game shines as a couch co-op game that will consume more of your time than you realize. Next is 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim is a long and difficult story to follow, especially if you want to know everything. Even though the story does not give players much control due to the lack of branching paths or bad endings, it will still take at least 15 hours to complete the story alone. When you combine it with a few hours of strategy RPG, you have a big game. I didn't abandon 13 Sentinels in the end because it is so well paced. The mystery of the story draws you in and propels you through a complex web of conspiracy, discovery, and self-reflection. It made me laugh, gasp, and see the world in a different light. I often talk about how interactive stories can be more than just movies or books, but few games actually do it. Vanillaware, on the other hand, makes it appear simple. Let us hope that 13 Sentinels is remembered for all that it has done for a long time. Next up, The Messenger. The Messenger is without a doubt one of the best indie games available on the Switch right now. It faces stiff competition from a flood of Metroidvania games, but its beautiful graphics, great music, clever writing, and excellent gameplay set it apart. I don't have much to complain about when I leave a game wanting to play it again every night. The first 2 hours of The Messenger exceeded my expectations. Then it turned into one of the most enjoyable, rewarding, and memorable gaming experiences I've ever had. It would be an understatement to say that Sabotage created a fantastic platformer. The Messenger is more than a platformer, and everyone should play it, even if it's not their typical genre. Next is Metro, Last Light Redux. Metro, Last Light is included in the Metro Redux Switch package. Even though each game can be purchased separately from the eShop, I believe it is best to begin with the first game in this series. You'll notice the changes, and I believe they'll make your time with the game even more enjoyable. This game, like Metro 2033, includes all DLC, including a ranger mode with stronger enemies and even fewer resources. In this mode, there is no HUD or UI. If you can't get enough of the Metro experience, you should try Ranger mode. You can't deny that Metro, Last Light Redux is a fantastic game, no matter how you describe it. It and Metro 2033 play well on the Switch, and when combined, they make for a fantastic and heartbreaking experience. Next up, Raiden 4X MIKADO Remix. Raiden 4X MIKADO Remix brings to the Nintendo Switch the best version of an arcade classic. It has a lot of game modes and an original soundtrack, making it one of the best shoot-'em ups you can play right now on the system. It moves quickly and has many cool tricks you can learn to help you improve your game over time. It doesn't hurt that the port is excellent and has almost every feature imaginable. Fans of shoot-'em-up games should not pass up this opportunity. Fans of shooters should not have to consider whether or not to purchase Raiden 4X MIKADO Remix on Switch. This is one of the best shoot-'em-ups, and it's even better in this version, with new game modes, global leaderboards, and an incredible remixed soundtrack. With co-op, a plethora of customization options, and tape mode, this is a game that will keep fans of the genre occupied for years to come. Next is Tales of Vesperia, Definitive Edition. Tales of Vesperia, Definitive Edition is one of the best RPGs for the Nintendo Switch. It's a lengthy adventure that will keep people engaged the entire time. Those who want to replay the game will get more than their money's worth, because there is new content and characters. When you can play Tales of Vesperia on a mobile device, you can enjoy everything it has to offer whenever and wherever you want. If you missed out on this gem 10 years ago, now is the time to make amends by playing one of the best role-playing games of the decade. Tales of Vesperia, Definitive Edition is a good buy for anyone who enjoyed the original game or simply enjoys heartfelt, interesting RPGs in general. There is enough new content, combined with remastered graphics and remixed locations, to satisfy even the most skeptic remaster critics. And last but not the least, Catherine Full Body. Catherine Full Body is a fantastic game on any platform. The story is fantastic, and depending on what the player does, it can go in various directions and to various locations. The puzzle is simple at first, but as you progress through the game, it becomes more difficult and enjoyable. This is not only one of the best games ever made by Atlus, but it is also one of their most well-known. Catherine Full Body on Switch is just as much fun as the other versions, but it's portable. The story maintains its excitement and mood, which is great for those who have waited this long to play. Catherine has a timeless feel to it, and the Switch port only adds to that. Catherine Full Body is a fantastic Nintendo Switch game. The puzzles are all unique, and the story keeps you hooked until the end. That's all, guys. I hope this video was helpful in deciding which game to play, and thank you for checking out the list. Please remember to subscribe, and we'll see you at the next one.